Hey guys, welcome back to another Hoplite video. Today is going to be a little bit different, so I'm just going to teach you through how I would play a usual Hoplite game. And I've got a game that I just recorded here, and I'm going to do a voiceover of this whole thing. So here I'm just in the lobby before the game, and I'm just going to show you, like, for new players or players that haven't played in a while, how you should basically go about Hoplite. I'm not going to give you an in-depth guide, but I'm just going to give you some things that I'm doing, gameplay footage from this, about what I would do in this scenario. So I am playing minor class for this, so this is, some parts of it might be more relevant to minor class, but I think the whole video in general can be used in any class. So let's hop in. So I went onto the dragon and I was looking around for a structure because that's really the best way to start, and I saw this big tree structure, so I ran in and instantly I saw this little mini house there, so I went in for the loot. Unfortunately though, there was someone there already, so what I did was I checked it real quick and then I left. And there's some really good loot in the scaffolding, although there was just there, so I got that, and it had some bread, which is really good because you need food in Hoplite, and it's kind of a hassle. So then I went up the scaffolding to this little house, and inside the chest I saw some apples and some more bread and even an iron sword, so that was actually, I actually got pretty lucky with that one. And then I went over here and I just tried to get more loot. Although after that I couldn't really find any more good loot. I went to that chest and I just looked inside, but it was pretty much looted by that point. So I began trying to get down. So I started going down and there was an iron helmet. Although the helmet that you automatically get in Hoplite is actually equivalent to a diamond helmet. So I didn't actually need that, which is why I didn't put it on. And usually every game I go for 2 wood before I go down to the mines, and that's just kind of because then you can get a smelter's pickaxe and then a crafting table, an axe and a sword. And so I then went down to the mines and I made what I needed, which was 4 sticks at that point for the smelter's pickaxe. So I went down and I was just trying to find some coal and iron, and I spotted some iron, but there was some more down there. And so I just went down and I tried to find that iron. And then after I'd mined that, all I needed was coal. So I started looking around for coal, and it actually took me a little while to find some coal. However, eventually I did, as you can see here, and all you need for a game is really 2 coal, because for Smelter's Pickaxe, it's one of the best crafts in the game, and all you need is 2 coal, 3 raw iron, and 2 sticks, and when you have it, it just instantly smelts every single ore that you mine, and you can see I crafted it there, and it appears in chat when you can, so it's really easy. And you see this iron I'm mining, that smelts instantly. I also got some copper, because with copper you can make a short sword, which requires 1 iron sword and 8 copper, and it's equivalent to a sharpness 1 iron sword. So it's actually pretty useful if you can't find any diamonds, because it's equivalent to a diamond sword, but usually you'll get enchants, so it's basically a backup for if you can't find any diamonds. And so here I'm just trying to find some more iron so I can mine that, and also maybe some diamonds. And I crafted a short sword, again, just as a backup for if I don't find any diamonds. And I realized that this cave, it doesn't go far enough, so I went looking for another one, and I saw this one, and I looked, however, it barely went anywhere. So I went around to the second part of the cave, and well, pretty soon I got there, but I realized that that one was basically the same. So I went up and I started looking for another cave, and it didn't take me long to find this big cave, although I had been there. So I then I went here and got some sugarcane, because with 3 sugarcane you can make paper, which you need for books, and books are very useful for enchanting. So then I went down into this cave, and I started looking around for iron and diamonds. Primarily though diamonds, because you can get iron at any time, but diamonds, they all go pretty quickly. And I also found some gold, and gold is useful for a ton of things in Hoplite. You need it for, well, not just golden apples, but golden heads, and also a few legendary weapons if I was going to get those. And usually you find diamonds in Deep Slate, so I just went down as quick as I could to try and find some. Although I got pretty unlucky over here. No diamonds, but there was a lot of iron, so I wouldn't mind that, because you need iron. Well, obviously you don't need a helmet, as I said earlier, but you need it for the rest of the gear. And also, it's really useful to have, because there's a bunch of scenarios where you'll need it. Like, for instance, crafting shears, which you need for cobwebs and leaves and apples. So I was also mining redstone, because, well, redstone can, first of all, it can make you something called an Aries blessing, which you need 1 player head and 8 redstone for, and it's basically a gamble. Sometimes it can give you like a pickle or a curse of binding pumpkin, but other times it gives you like a golden head or some really good loot like sharpness 5 books. I've got super lucky but also super unlucky with it. You can also use redstone to craft one of the legendary weapons, which is actually new, called the war pick. And the war pick is really useful because it does a lot of durability to people's armor. And again here, I'm just mining more iron. You want to get roughly 40 iron. I didn't in this game, but it's like for starting players especially, you need that. And over here I found some diamonds, so I started bridging across. And most of the time you probably shouldn't speed bridge over lava. Here I have fire resistance, because you get that at the start of every Hoplite game. But it's just safer if you don't speed bridge and if you play it the safe way. And just like, because you need to get there quick. So you do want to be quick, but you don't want to speed bridge, because if you fall in, that's a whole other thing. So after that, I started to look around for some more iron. Unfortunately though, that diamond was only a single diamond, which means I can't craft a diamond sword yet. However, it's still pretty good, because for instance the magma club, a legendary weapon that's equivalent to a sharpness 2 iron sword and gives you fire resistance and fire aspects, it only requires 1 diamond and not 2, because it needs an iron sword and 1 diamond. So that's actually pretty useful. It might seem like 1 diamond isn't, but actually in the long run, there's a lot of things you can do with it. So again, I'm just looking for some more iron, and I think I'm planning to go up pretty soon, because, well, you know, you need to be up ready to get golden apples, and also if you're gonna get a legendary weapon, you probably want to do it before PvP. That's like the rule of thumb, because otherwise you can get killed with the resources to make a legendary weapon, and that's happened lots of times to me, and it's very annoying. Here, it wasn't the most graceful landing, but I did see some gold, so I went up to try and get that. And, well, like, you need to watch your health before PvP, but I feel like here, it wasn't too big of a jump, and I knew I'd be able to survive it. You basically, you want to make sure that you have at least, I'll say 7 hearts, like roughly 7 hearts at all times before PvP, because obviously after PvP you can't really control that. But you just don't want to put yourself in too much danger, because if you find a witch or something, then that really, you're in a lot of trouble. And that happened to me in a video I did a few days ago, and I nearly died, so. But here I found some more diamonds, and finally after mining these, I had 4 diamonds, so I'd be able to craft a diamond sword, which you need for, I'd say, like, most legendary weapons. So a diamond sword is pretty crucial to the game. And, well, the only other way you can really win if you don't have a diamond sword is snowballing. And the snowballing is basically the practice of killing people to get their loot, and then always killing people who are a bit better than you, but it requires you to be really good at PvP. And I'm sure there'll be some people who aren't very good at PvP. So I'm kind of like trying to do both playstyles there. And also, all, snowballing is it's a lot better in solo instead of doing it in Civilization. And this is a video really on Civilization because I don't really do much solo. If you want to have a tutorial on solo, then tell me in the comments, but I don't really do much of that, but I could definitely make a tutorial on that if you guys need that. This is basically just a tutorial on the basics of Hoplite, not an in-depth guide. But here, I found some cobwebs, so I'm mining those, and you need to make sure you mine them with cobwebs, because if you mine them with a sword or anything else, it only drops string, and you want the cobwebs, because when someone runs into cobwebs, they get stuck, and they can't move. So these are useful in two scenarios. First of all, if you're trying to run away from someone, and also they're very, very useful if you're just trying to, like, crit them and you're trying to keep them in the spot, because it can be really hard to crit people otherwise, especially considering it's 1.20 and they can really easily just get you away. In 1.8 you can get people into really good combos, but I think it's harder to do that in 1.20. And also, again, I imagine a lot of you won't be great at PvP, and I'm trying to factor that in. So cobwebs, they're very useful, especially in 1.20. And here I found a minecart chest, so I was just looking around for any more, but I didn't see any, so I went and I tried to get it. The reason I didn't get any more cobwebs is because you can only, well, in Hoplite you can only have 8 cobwebs in your inventory at a time, and it's just for balancing reasons, so that you don't like trap someone for hours as they're trying to get out of cobwebs, because that would be a bit unfair. And I've got most of the stuff that I need, so I'm starting to think about going up. So I'm just doing the classic method of building up and then placing a block below you, and it's really easy. There's other methods of getting out, but this one, it's just super simple. And I'm just getting some more blocks so that I can make it all the way. Unfortunately, there's some cave spiders following me at this point. So I made sure that I built up so that they wouldn't be able to get me. They can climb walls, but they can't go through walls, and I placed a block where they were. So I was just trying to get up to the surface here, and you can see in the top left corner of the screen, I'm at Y39. Usually you'll find land at about Y64. That's because sea level's at Y63, and it's about there. So I was just digging up and trying to get there. And then eventually I did, and I just replaced the 2 dirt here so I could get up. You always want 2 blocks spare, so you can do that. And at this point, I'm just trying to prepare for deathmatch, or rather for PvP. Deathmatch is a long time. But there were some cows, and notice how I'm killing them with my smelter's pickaxe. That's because when you kill animals with your smelter's pickaxe, they actually drop the cooked version of their food. So that's super OP. But I didn't really need the food here. What I actually needed was the leather, because you need leather for books, and as I said earlier, books you really need for enchanting. They're just super OP. And something you also need for books is paper, which you get from sugarcane. So I was just getting that here, so I mined those 2 bits of sugarcane, and I saw some more sugarcane over there. So I went through the river to go and get them. And then after I got these, I was just trying to look for anything that could prepare me for PvP, because you really want to be as good as you can before PvP. The more stuff you have before, the better. And then I realized that I don't actually have gear. This is a mistake I've made so many times. You just really need to get into the habit of crafting gear before PvP starts, because there's so many toxic people that just don't let you craft and break your crafting tables. And it's so annoying, because that just means that you're dead. So it's so important to do that. And I also had 4 diamonds, so I crafted, well, I didn't actually craft boots. Instead I crafted a diamond sword, because that's really useful if you get enchants, because enchanted diamond sword is better than a short sword, obviously. I mean, not that much, so a short sword is still pretty good. But yeah, I'm just clearing out my inventory, and you can see that the king election's about to happen. You always really want to be ready for that, and depending on what you have, you should go for a different path. Like, if you have really good gear, Like, well, it depends on your playstyle, but if you have an E-table and also some really good armor, you might actually want to go defense, because defense gives you instant prop books. So once you've enchanted your armor, you can get an additional amount of protection on it, which basically gives you full prot 2 and prot 3 on your chestplate, which is super OP. And so I was just trying to see if I can find anyone. And then I was going into the King Electrum menu, and I voted defense because my gear wasn't that great. If you don't have golden apples, then you usually just always want to find. You always want to go for farming because that gives you 3 golden apples. And here I actually found a village, and somehow, for some reason that is beyond me, this village wasn't looted, and it had 3 diamonds inside a chest. I've never found that many. But something that was also there was the bell. Well, there are actually 2 bells, and both of them are unlooted, which is crazy. So I got one of them, and if you guys have watched my other videos, you'll know that this is a really good way of crafting an emerald sword. Well, it's probably the hardest thing for it. So I didn't have an E-table at this point, so I just put the instant protection books on my armor. And I was starting to think that maybe I should craft emerald sword. And what I need for that is a golden carrot, a diamond sword, a bell, and then also 2 blocks of emerald. And it's just really OP because the more emeralds that you put into it, the more sharpness levels that it gains, and it's just, you can get such high sharpness levels. So most games that you win, you'll probably have to have a legendary weapon. It's crucial. Whether you craft that yourself or kill someone else, those are kind of like 2 tactics. But here I didn't know what to do because I didn't know if I should go for kills or if I should go for emerald sword. So I asked my team if they had emeralds, but no one really said anything, so I assumed that I would have to do it myself. So I was just getting ready, because I needed a lot of wood if I wanted to get the emerald sword, because you need to trade with Fletchers for emeralds for the emerald sword, because if you have a basic emerald sword with no additional emeralds, then that's really bad, because it's literally the same as a diamond sword, so there's no point to that. And even if you get like 1 sharpness level on it, it's still only equivalent to a sharpness 1 diamond sword, so that's still really bad. You need as many sharpness levels as possible, as early as possible. And one of the recipes that you kind of definitely need for getting wood is the lumberjack axe. And for the lumberjack axe, you actually need flint. And so I was just, at this point, well, I crafted a golden carrot, because you need that for the emerald sword, obviously. But then I started looking around for some flint, because it's probably the hardest ingredient of the lumberjack axe. You just need to get it early on, and I hadn't done that. So I crafted a shovel so that I'd be able to get it. If you level up your miner perk, you actually, or rather your miner class, you actually get a free shovel, but a lot of you I know, well, most of you, will probably not have that shovel, or the trapper shovel, but I'm sure that, like, most of you won't, so I just want to do it for the majority and not use another shovel. So I crafted an iron shovel, and it's super cheap. It's basically a sword, but instead of the middle slot being the middle crafting slot being a piece of iron, it's just a stick, so it's actually even cheaper than 9 swords, so really easy. And I'd say in most games you probably need flint. I definitely should have got it in the caves, but you know, this isn't a perfect game. It's just a game. It's the first game I recorded, and I did pretty well, I'd say. But here I had forgotten to get gravel, so that's not great. But I was just looking around for a cave to see if I could find some, because that's usually where you find some. You don't really find them anywhere else. And the gravel chances are increased, well, the flint chances rather, are increased massively in Hoplite. Like, you can get I think it's like 50-50 how much flint you get from gravel, which is just really good. And I found some gravel over here, so I started mining that. It was just there, so really easy to get. And you can see in chat, it popped up saying that I have all the items to craft the lumberjack axe. For the lumberjack axe, you need 2 sticks, 3 iron, and 1 flint. But I didn't just want the lumberjack axes. I also needed flint for fletching tables, because you want as many fletching tables as possible. Because the fletchers increase their prices after you get 16 emeralds. So you need a bunch of villagers. I got so lucky this game though, that I had just found a village after PvP started that just had everything I needed. So now I needed to go to the tree and to chop it down. And I also got so lucky because there's one of the tree structures next to it. And here I'm about to try and craft some lumberjack axes, and then I'd be able to get a bunch of wood from those trees. And sometimes, I don't know how this works, but sometimes there's a glitch where it only uses a quarter of the lumberjack axe's durability to mine a chunk of that tree, but unfortunately that didn't happen this time. I did manage to somehow get 2 chops with that lumberjack axe, but it's not great. You know, the best game is one where you get like all of the glitches and you get a village instantly, but I don't want the best game because that's not natural. I just picked the first game that I recorded because I want it to be like an average game that you do. I guess most average games you probably wouldn't find a free bell and just a free village with 3 diamonds, but you know, you might. So I was just using up the rest of my lumberjack axes, preparing to go back to the village. And you get a lot of wood from this, although you can't really get that high without the lumberjack axe glitch. You can only get like a maximum of like, I think, sharp 5 if you get really lucky with all the villages. But you know, it's still a sharp 5 diamond sword is still really good. So I just started looking for the village. But I mean, eventually I did after quite a while. And at this point, all I needed for the emerald sword was the emeralds. So the strategy is to place fletching tables right next to the composters of the farmers, and then just break the composters and they should become fletchers if there aren't any other workstations. If you need a guide on how to get emeralds, then there's so many on YouTube. But I mean, if you want one from me, I can do that, so just tell me in the comments. So I was just doing that, and eventually I got 2 fletchers from the farmers, and it's a super easy process. They sometimes trade you gravel, sometimes arrows, but what you want is the stick trade. So after that, what I wanted to do was just to make the sticks so that I could trade. There was a lot of leftover like wood, but you can pick that up later, it's just fine. And getting wood from fletchers trading wood to fletchers is the quickest way to get emeralds by far if you don't have any farms, and I'm assuming in Hoplite you probably don't. So for a while I was just trading, until eventually I had enough emeralds to finally craft the emerald sword. I didn't have many to spare though, but I was gonna make some more fletchers so that I could do that. And you can see it's actually, emerald sword is a really easy craft. If you're going for it, like I have quite a lot of times, you can get it at least 2/3 of games if you have practice. It's just so easy, but what's the hard part is actually after crafting it, getting it to be a high sharpness level, because if you can't get it to be a high sharpness level, it's a waste of materials and a waste of time. So yeah, at this point I was just trading, trying to get it up, and the border was closing in. so I had to be quick. I got it to sharp 2, but I just needed to get as many villagers as possible to be Fletchers, and well, this blacksmith was here, so I turned him into a Fletcher, and I just started trading with him. At this point, I didn't really care about the prices. I just needed the emeralds because there's no point wasting wood. And then finally I was ready to leave the village, and I had a sharpness 3 emerald sword. And I did it just in time as well because, as you can see, the border is right there. I got pretty lucky with that timing. So I was starting to try and kill people because with a sharpness 3 emerald sword, it's a pretty good sword. And also, I was thinking about my teammates. Yeah, every time you kill an animal with the emerald sword, they have a chance of dropping emeralds, which is why I was doing that to those pigs. And I realized that I probably wasn't going to get any more diamonds for a while because, like, there wasn't anyone nearby me that I had seen. So I thought that I'd cross some diamond boots while I could, because I couldn't do that in the middle of combat. And I was getting close to sharpness 4, so I just wanted to kill a few more pigs, and then eventually I'd get there. But the board was closing in, so I had to be quick about it. I think I probably should have focused more on getting kills this game. So that's a very good idea in game. Well, as I said earlier, there's a lot of tactics. What I like to do is basically just be preparing until deathmatch, pretty much, unless I join up with my team. But a lot of people I know like to get their gear for killing people, and that's a good tactic as well. And if you guys want that video about how to win Hoplite that way, then tell me in the comments, because I'd be more than willing to do that. And I was killing horses, and the reason I went to the horses, even though there were other animals, was because the border was closing in, so any second now, they would be out of the border. And that horse I just about missed. I wasn't able to kill him. But yeah, I was so close to sharpness 4 at this point. I had 38 out of 48 emeralds to get there. I was just looking for any animals, because if I got lucky, it would only take me about 5 animal kills to be able to get to sharpness 4. And a sharpness 4 emerald sword is pretty good. I've never actually got higher than sharp 4. I've never got sharp 5. Maybe I'll do that next video. But as you can see, I went onto my compass to try and track my teammates. That's a really important aspect of the game, because your teammates, well, obviously I'm playing Civilization Royale, but it's so important to have teammates, because even if there was someone with a dragon katana, I'll say, against me, if I have a team of 3, I'm with iron armor and a basic diamond sword, there's a very large chance that I would be able to win that fight, which is why it's so important that you go to your team. I was just really grabbing at straws here, trying to get all of the emeralds for sharpness 4, and as you can see, I was in quite a hurry, but I crafted a gapple so that I'd be able to do that, and someone ate a golden head, which gave me regeneration, which was nice, so I didn't actually need to eat any of them, because I was a little bit low, but so close to sharpness 4. I just needed 1 or 2 more kills. So I killed this pig. He didn't drop any emeralds. I went to that pig and I was planning on killing him. I did, and he dropped 2. I put those in, and bam, I had sharpness 4. And that's just really OP, I'm gonna be honest. As you can see though, in the top right, deathmatch was gonna begin in 30 seconds, so it was pretty important that I get ready for that. And I didn't have an enchantment table, which I kind of could have used, but it's fine. I think I definitely should have spent a lot more time with my teammates, but as I've already said, this was just the first game I recorded because I wanted it to be natural. And so it's definitely not the best game I played, but it's alright because I got to deathmatch. And if you're getting to deathmatch most games, which if you like play the sort of strategies that I've said in this video, I suspect that most of the time you'll get to deathmatch. And if you do, then there's a very high chance that you'll win some games. It is super hard to win, especially as a new player, but it's really, you can be really demotivated by not winning, but you just need to keep going because you win a lot in Hoplite. Like if you play a lot, you'll win a lot. That's just kind of how it works, really. And I saw that there were quite a few big teams, and unfortunately my team was only consisting of 3 players, so I stuck with my team, because in deathmatch you can't go off solo, you need to stay with your team. And we saw this guy, he was really OP, he had diamond armor and a magma club, so if we could kill him, then we would be set, and there would be quite a high chance of us getting the win. So we started chasing him, but unfortunately he had teammates, and they are very overpowered. And it's times like this, I didn't know whether to chase or to run. And so at this point I thought, okay, I'm just gonna run and then try and get them weak, and then maybe I can go in for the kill. So I went around the tree, although they went the other way to where I was expecting, and I accidentally dropped my cobwebs there. And in scenarios like this, you're basically dead. But it was a good game. Very good game, and it was fun.